Yo, did you spend money on things like this? Let's talk about it. What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today we're going to be talking about my ways and my techniques on how I press t-shirts, why they're good, why they're bad, why some people don't agree with me. Now, the reason I'm making this video right here is because anytime that I show myself pressing t-shirts, you never see me use things like this, and people get mad that I don't use things like this. Now, one of the first things I always tell you guys, if you don't lay your t-shirt down straight, then your transfers will not be straight. So, items like this will not help you out if you don't lay your t-shirt down straight. So my technique is always to lay the collar over the press. I pull down on the armpits right here when the t-shirt's laying flat on both sides, and then I start to feel the bottom platen to see if one side's higher than the other till they both feel about the same. This right here allows me to make sure that I have my t-shirt laying down as straight as possible and square as possible. Because if the t-shirt's a little skewed, or if the t-shirt's a little higher than the other side, then your transfer is gonna be skewed and your transfer is gonna be higher on the other side. That's just the way it works. So for myself, I use the technique of pulling down on the armpits on both sides to make sure the t-shirt's straight. Anytime I do that, people get mad and they're like, why don't you just fold the t-shirt over, press a line down the middle, then you'll have the exact center of the t-shirt. That works also. What you guys have to remember is there's a million ways of doing this stuff. For me, I'm sharing what works for myself. I like to be as efficient with my time as possible. If I had to lay down the t-shirt, fold it over, crease that thing up, on every single t-shirt, if I'm doing 500 t-shirts, that's adding extra time and extra steps to my labor. For myself, I'd rather do it the way I feel most comfortable and how I'm gonna be the most efficient with my time. If I can eliminate steps that aren't needed, then I'm gonna eliminate those steps. Now, with that being said, it all comes down to repetition. It's muscle memory at a certain point, because the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. When you're first starting out, I get it. Things like this, they're gonna sound like a good idea and you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna make sure everything's laying down straight. But if you do not lay your t-shirt down straight first, this won't matter. So laying your t-shirt down straight is gonna be the very top priority for you. So let's get into things like this right here. Everybody sees me lay down the t-shirt. Collar goes over the edge. I always go 4 fingers down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of my fingers right here. This is how I lay down every single transfer. This is my gauge. This is my ruler. This is what I use. The reason I use this is because it's a built-in ruler. It's already on my hand. I don't have to go and reach for a ruler. I just lay my hand down, say, all right, I'm gonna place it right there. People will say, well, how do you know that's gonna be the perfect placement? I'm wearing a t-shirt that I pressed right here. 4 fingers down, here's the collar. 4 fingers down, there's the text. This is how it lays on my body. This is where I like my transfers to lay. Is this the best standard way of doing it? Probably not. This is the most efficient way for me to do things. So 4 fingers down from the collar, it's gonna make sure it's landing center of my chest. Here's my nipples right here. This right here looks good when it's being worn. A lot of people, what they do is they get confused. The t-shirt looks different when it's flat on a surface, laying on a table, laying on a bed, laying on your heat press. It looks way different when it's actually worn and draped over the body. So for myself, 4 fingers down is always gonna be best placement for me. I've always said this. You could go back to the very first videos I ever posted on YouTube. I've been using this technique because it works for me. Now, here's your thing. If this was around the collar, there it is. 4 fingers down is exactly this size right here. This is a built-in ruler for me. Does that mean your hand has to be the same size as me? No, but I just use it as a visual guide to know where I want to lay things down. So if this little measurement thing that you guys bought is the same size as my fingers, why would I even need this? I just use my hand. 4 fingers down, I know my t-shirt straight. I know where the center of my transfer is. I know that this is always gonna be 3 inches. And when I'm doing 100, 200, 400 shirts, I'm not gonna wanna pull this out for every single t-shirt. That's time consuming for myself. Being efficient with my time means more to me. The more t-shirts I do, the more money I make. But remember, this means nothing if your t-shirt's not laying down straight first. Learn how to lay your t-shirt down straight first, then you worry about stuff like this, stuff like this. Now, the next thing is the left chest print. People will say, hey, when you're doing your left chest print, it doesn't look like it's gonna land on the heart. Here's your guide right here. This goes to the peak of the collar, this goes down, this is where you lay the transfer. Right here, transfer gets laid down right here. Here's your visual guide, same exact thing. You gotta remember, I've been doing this for a long time. These are just little tricks that I've learned to make my life easier when I'm pressing. And all I'm doing is sharing that information with you to make your life that much easier. If you wanna waste your money on stuff like this and lasers and all these different guides, by all means, that's cool. But for myself, I like to not waste money and I like to be efficient with my time. So with all of that being said, just because I do something doesn't mean it's the law. It doesn't mean that that's the best way of doing things. That's just the best way I found to do stuff for myself. All I'm doing is sharing the information with you guys. Whether you want to use your hand, whether you want to use this, whether you want to go old school and just use a regular ass ruler. Up to you. Whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable with. But for myself, whenever I'm in production mode, when I'm doing shirts, pressing shirts, I don't want to have to be reaching for all these different tools to make sure things are lined up. I'm going to find the best way to do it for myself, where I can actually be efficient with my time, still put down a great product, and be confident in what I'm doing. It's all about confidence. If you don't feel confident using your hand, you feel more confident using these tools, use the tools. But like I said, it all comes down to repetition, muscle memory. You're gonna start to feel when a t-shirt's straight, when a transfer's straight, when a transfer looks skewed. Things will start to fall into place for you over time, but you have to put in the reps to get to that point. Now, the next thing we're gonna talk about is design size. People will say, hey, what's the best design size? That design looks big, that design looks small, that design looks good. What size are your designs? My designs vary in size based on what they look like. Just because I say, all right, this design right here is 13 inches wide. Does that mean every design you make is gonna be 13 inches wide? No. Visually, that one design probably looks good at 13 inches wide. Would it look good at 12 inches wide? It probably will, because you really won't notice that big of a difference. People are so hesitant to put designs out because they don't know what size design they should do. And what I tell everybody to do is do your homework. Get some tape it on a t-shirt and see what 12 inches wide looks like, 13 inch wide looks like, 10 inches wide looks like. Visually, you need to see what it looks like on a t-shirt. So without having to waste a t-shirt, get some tape, painter's tape, masking tape, scotch tape, doesn't matter. Get your ruler, put it on the shirt, measure out what size you want it to be. Put that t-shirt on, you wear it, look in the mirror. Tell somebody, wear this shirt so I can visually see what it looks like. Take a picture of you wearing it so you can see exactly what size design will look good on that t-shirt. I don't know what your design idea is. I don't know if it's a circle design, square design, triangle design. I can't tell you, yeah, you know what, you should do that at 13 inches or 12 inches or 10 inches because I don't know what it looks like. Same thing for the left chest print. So many people are undecided on what size it needs to be and they're like, hey, what size are yours? I have left chest prints that are 5 inches across, 3 inches across, everything in between. Sometimes they're taller, sometimes they're smaller. It all depends on the actual design when I'm looking at it. And what do? I take a piece of tape and I tape off a square box, the size that I want it to be and what looks good. Then I take this ruler and I measure the size of that box. I put that into Photoshop and I say, I want my design to be this size by this size. Here's the dimensions. That way I know it's gonna look dope because I put a piece of tape on there, I wore the shirt, I looked in the mirror, I said, yeah, that looks like good sizing, good placement, now designed to those dimensions. I do this for every single design that I do because sometimes it might be 2 lines of text, sometimes it might be a circle design, sometimes it just might be an image. Every single design is different, so no design size is the same size. You have to remember, t-shirts look different when they're flat on a surface or draped on a body. Your best bet is always to wear the t-shirt, tape it off so you see what it looks like. I'm wearing right now an extra large t-shirt. This design right here measures at 11 inches across. When this t-shirt's laying flat, 11 inches across is probably gonna look small, but when it's draped on the body, it lands perfect. Like I said, nipple to nipple. This is an easy call for myself. This design could look better at 12 inches or 13 inches. So what you have to keep in mind is anytime you're creating designs, whatever your size range is, make something appealing to all sizes. 11 inches will work on a size small up to 3X t-shirt. People are like, nah, 3X t-shirt's so big and that design is this size. If you don't agree with it, you don't have to do your designs to that size. This is just what I do. You have to figure out what works for yourself. Always remember, you're the business owner. You make all the decisions. Do not make your job that much harder thinking about how you're gonna do everything when you can make your job that much easier by doing your homework first. Like I said, take some tape, put it on a t-shirt, look in the mirror, see what it looks like. Does this look too wide? Does it look too tall? Adjust the tape. When you find something that works for you, you measure it, you design to those dimensions, and you make your life so much easier. This goes for front designs, back designs, neck hits, sleeve hits, whatever you wanted to know. Always understand that there's no design that's gonna be the same exact size, and there's no design guidelines. This is the beauty of being a creative. You have the freedom to create whatever you want. Do not put yourself in a box and be like, all right, I have to follow these guidelines because this person on YouTube said the design has to be this size. This is the size they make their designs. I need to do the same exact thing, because that's boring as shit. You're the business owner. You be creative. You do whatever the hell you want to do. If you wanted your t-shirt design to be fucking 18 inches wide, then do 18 inches wide. You have to do whatever you feel looks good to you. Don't get wrapped up in the BS. All right, I hope this video right here helps somebody out. And I hope it answers a lot of questions for a lot of people. But the main takeaway from this video is to do whatever you feel comfortable with. Just because I do something doesn't mean you have to do the same exact thing. I'm showing you what I feel comfortable with, and I'm sharing that with you guys, because if it works for me, it might work for you, but it also might not work for you. We all have different hand sizes. When we're talking 4 fingers down, maybe your hand's bigger than mine and you might have to just do 3 fingers down. I don't know. Measure your hand, figure that part out. But always remember that you're the business owner. You own the business. I don't own your business. I have no business in your business. You have to think for yourself. Being a business owner means you are a free thinker. You're thinking for yourself. There's no outside influence because all of those outsiders are not invested in your business. You do what you feel is right for your business. If you have a hard time grasping that and you want to be told what to do and this is how you do something, you might not be cut out to be a business owner. Maybe you're a really good employee and you're used to somebody telling you what to do and you can execute whatever they tell you to do. But at that point, you are no longer the business owner. You are just the employee. Please understand that, and please come to grips with your own self, because the quicker you point this out, the better off you'll be. Now, if you got questions about anything I spoke about in this video, placement of transfers, laying down t-shirts straight, size of designs, all of that good stuff, let me know in the comments. If you have other techniques on how you do things, how you lay down transfers, how you make sure your t-shirt's straight, how you figure out design size, all of that good stuff, let me know in the comments also. You could always follow me on Instagram at BigBrandoTV. If you wanted to see me working in the shop and laying down t-shirts, laying down transfers, what my day-to-day looks like, you can find it there. Once again, that's BigBrandoTV on Instagram. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.